Hello everyone, Jeff here. So this is my 10-gallon Mutt Guppy tank, and I'm going to be feeding Repashy. So Repashy, if you don't already know, is it's a powder gel premix food. Basically, you need to prepare it and combine it with hot water, and then it forms into like a jello type gel, and that's what we have here. And you can refrigerate it and store it in your refrigerator for a couple weeks. So I ordered some Repashy from Super Cichlids and received it last week, and I prepared the first batch. And I've fed my 30-gallon live bearer community tank, but that's the only tank I've fed so far. I want to feed all my other tanks. I just haven't done it because I wanted to. When I do it, I want to be able to watch them, and I just haven't had a chance to do more than to sit down in front of my tanks when I feed them and watch them. So, but yeah, so I'm going to do that now with this 10-gallon tank, this 10-gallon Mutt Guppy tank. So, this will be their first time trying it out. My 30-gallon community tank, the fish loved it there. So, let's see how these guys are going to like it. Drop some chunk right there. So this tank has mostly guppies. There's also 4 bronze corridors, and I added a few platies in here, a couple female marigold varieties platies, and there's a male gold Mickey Mouse platy. And there's my cat Creature. Alright, so they don't. Okay, there we go. I guess, as I mentioned, it's the first time feeding it, so they're not familiar with it yet. They're expecting when I feed them, I'll drop food on the top, so that's what they're waiting for. But once they realize what's going on, I'm sure there'll be a feeding frenzy down here. That's pretty much how it was when I tried it the first time in my other tank. Alright, so there they go here. I'm going to drop another chunk in a little further back, so drop it over here so other fish can get at that one. Yep, they are liking it. No surprise there. Once they really see what's going on, it'll be, fish covering it. There's still other fish swimming around at the top. And that one looks like it has some kind of swim bladder issue. That female, that's like vertical. There they go. Yeah, it's fun to watch them go nuts over Repashy. So what I have is the Community Plus. There's different flavors, designed for different purposes, I guess. This is the Community Fish Blend. Yeah, so while I'm showing this tank, the last time I showed this tank, I was doing a little experiment to see how I was going to have a race between Bacopa and Anacharis to see which one would grow faster. So I have that stem of Bacopa right there next to a stem of Anacharis. But, I had them cut at the same length, side by side, but then, the corridor is scurrying around, must have knocked them loose, and I would found, there's one of the bits of Anacharis floating right there. And I found the Bacopa floating too, so I pretty much scrapped the plan of seeing with the race. I knew Anacharis grows faster anyway. Look at this one right here. That's not the same one, but at the time I showed that, these Anacharis might have been around here, and they've since grown up to the top and over. And then so the Bacopa I just kind of stuck on that spider wood to hold it in place. And another change with this tank, I used to have a piece of dragonstone right there. It didn't really match the black substrate, so I moved it into my 3.5 gallon shrimp tank, which is that 3.5 gallon tank I'm actually treating with levamisole for camelinus worms, doing the second treatment there, because I noticed one of the female platy that's in there had a red worm spike thread sticking out of her butt, so I had to treat that tank. So that's getting its second levamisole treatment, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't fed that tank Repashy. So once I'm done with that, I have to keep the tank covered and in the dark for 24 hours. So tomorrow, once that 24-hour period passes, I'll do a water change, and I'm going to let them have some Repashy so that see how the shrimp respond to it, the Neocaridina shrimp that I have in that tank. And same deal with my 10-gallon Guppy Endler hybrid tank. That one I'm also treating with camelinus worms, so once that's over, I'll do a water change and feed them Repashy for the first time too. And so another thing about this tank, I added this submersible LED light, and now look at all that algae that's growing right there. I'm glad about that. This tank pretty much didn't really have any algae growth, with these weak hood lights and the LED lights in the hood. There's one right there, there's a second set that burnt out, and that's why I ended up getting that submersible light on this side, because this tank was just dark because of it. Just straighten out the hood here. I had it lifted off so I could drop the Repashy in. And, it does have a little hole opening, but I wanted to drop it over on this side, so where it's a clear bottom. This side is all Java moss. That fish is sick up there. I've noticed that one's been struggling to stay horizontal. Another thing I've noticed, and the female guppies are kind of hunchbacked and it's like they're worn down. Hawaiian Brian noticed that too, and watching my last video where I of this tank where, you know, I thought it might have been because, you know, one of the reasons for it was being because before I got this LED light right here, this tank was pretty dark for a while and I kind of neglected it. You know, I didn't really observe that much. I went a stretch without doing consistent water changes, and the pH dropped and then nitrates rose. And then after I got the LED light, you know, I got back into, you know, regular water change routine. But then I noticed, you know, the females looked kind of rough. Like, look at this one right here. That one's back is hunched and just worn out. But Brian mentioned that, you know, part of the reason for that is just they're, you know, having babies and get harassed by the males, and that makes sense. Because I mean, you know, if it was due to like the water conditions, like I thought it would be, I mean, the males are just fine. So I mean, if it was like a water problem, then, you know, that would affect all the fish, right? And there's, you know, there's also the possibility that, you know, looking at not knowing, like some of these female guppies you might think might have internal parasites. I have, you know, treated them with quarantine meds, including General Cure, it's a dewormer. But I mean, there is a possibility that they have camelinus worms too, because 3 of my tanks have them, and I do move fish around and I have used the same nets. But so I'll probably still do a little bit of salt treatment on this tank. That's what, you know, a medication that's used to eliminate camelinus worms. But I have, you know, observing, I haven't noticed any of the fish in here with, you know, red butt spikes, or like camelinus worms hanging out of their butts. But yeah, where'd that, I must have kicked it around. They didn't eat it all, did they? There was like that chunk that was over here. Okay, there's the 2 chunks, so they kind of kicked it over here. I think I'll throw in some flake food too at the top, just for anybody that's not getting into the scrum down here. They can still eat off the top if they want. So, some flake food. So let's check out some of the fish in here. This one right there. I can tell which one I'm trying to follow. Yeah, right there. I like that one. Where'd it go? That male right there. That's cool looking. There's a couple silvery ones, like yeah, this one right here. I like that one. It's hard, they don't stay still. I'm looking through the camera, I don't see as well. But like these lyre tail guppies. They kind of have silvery bodies. And there's a couple males that are, pretty much grown into adults now that are silvery like that, but don't have the lyre tails and have smaller tail fins, and I like them like that. Like this one right here. Nowhere to go. Yeah, right there at the top. That's one of them. Let's see if I can find the other one that I like that has like a couple like red lines on it. Where are you? That one's kind of cool right there. How it's like kind of a dark body and like orangey tail with like a kind of like a dark in the middle of the tail, but orange around it. Alright, I'm gonna just put the camera set over here and just look straight in. There it is. This is the one. I just kind of dove into the Java moss where the food is, but it has like a smaller tail, like kind of clear, and has two like red lines on its body. I guess like the tail shape is more shaped like the female's tails. Like, I don't necessarily like the big male like delta tails or whatever you call them, like big floppy tails. I kind of like the ones with the smaller tails. There it is right here. That one's cool looking. Alright. Let's check them out, eating the Repashy down here. Alright, I think that's it for now. Alright. In case you didn't already know, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishies, and I enjoy kitties. Thanks for watching.